Hello everyone, this is Jasmine and welcome to my channel. Today we will learn microservice. What is microservice? It is a small, loosely coupled distributed service. Each microservice is designed to perform a specific business function and can be developed, deployed and scaled independently. It allows you to take a large application and decompose it into easily manageable small components with narrowly defined responsibilities. Now, how is microservice different from the monolithic development? So let's understand that. This is the design of a monolithic approach where we use a traditional application that has most of its functionality within a few processes. And this is the microservice. Now, in monolithic structure, the application is single, unified unit containing all functionality within a few processes, often organized with layers and libraries. While in microservice, the application is broken down into smaller independent services, each handling a specific piece of functionality. Now, when we consider deployment, we have to deploy the entire application on the multiple servers or virtual machines. We cannot deploy or scale individual parts. The whole app is always deployed together in monolithic. But in microservice, each microservice can be deployed, updated and scaled independently across servers or virtual machines. You can run more instances of only the service that need to handle higher load. Now, when we consider resource utilization, the image labels, or you can call it coarse-grained density of the apps or services, runs the full application regardless of which parts are mostly used. While in microservice, it is the density that is described as fine-grained density of services, allowing a mix of different service instances per server, optimized for actual usage. So from this we can understand that there are lots of drawbacks in monolithic approach. Any change or update requires deploying the entire application, even if only a part has been changed. While microservice enables independent deployment of the service, this improves the flexibility, scalability, and resource utilization. Today we will learn to create a single custom API gateway using microservice. Now, what is an API gateway? API gateway acts as a mediator between a client application and the backend services within the microservice architecture. It is a software layer that functions as a single endpoint for various APIs performing tasks such as request composition, routing, and protocol translation. To be able to create the gateway project, I will use Ocelot. Ocelot is an open source API gateway designed for microservices architecture, and in this video, you will see how it makes the process of creating an API gateway so easy. Also, I will show you how we can cache results and implement rate limiting using Ocelot. If you like the video, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe button. Start by creating a project in Visual Studio. So the first thing we have to do is create a blank solution. Give it a meaningful name, demo, Ocelot API Gateway. Now in this solution, we will create two web APIs and one Ocelot API. Add new project, web API. Give it a name, weather forecast. Execute this project. This is the output of our weather forecast API. Now let's create one more API. Identity. So let's modify this controller. User controller. And change this name also. I'm just giving some names. This method, let's remove this one. And instead of IEnumerable, here I'm just calling IActionResult. Let's execute identity API. We are getting the output, the names. Change the port number of these two API. So this will be easy for us when we create an Ocelot API. So in the properties, launch settings, and the identity, for this identity, let's give it 7001. Since we are using it on HTTPS server, I'm just modifying the port number for the HTTPS. Then for the weather forecast, 7002. Execute both the APIs, go to the properties, multiple startup, start, apply, and now let's run. You can see uh, the output of the user and weather forecast. Now, so the port number is working fine. Now let's create a new project. This is also a web API. Let's give it a name, API Gateway. Let's install ocelot, the NuGet package. Select this ocelot, install. Ocelot is installed. We don't need this class file from the gateway. Let's delete this. And in program files, we need to add dependencies. We need to add the configuration. To speed things up, I have copy pasted the code. So we have to create this JSON file and then add the ocelot services, then use the code, and lastly app.use ocelot.wait. Now let's create the ocelot.json file. Is the code for the ocelot JSON file. To speed things up, I've copy pasted the code. So the first thing we have to do is routes for the user. So it will have a downstream path where we are going to pass the host and the port number. And then the upstream part is how your API needs to be called. So for both, I'm passing the same path. And then the same thing is for the weather forecast. Since we have changed the port number as 7001 and 7002 in identity and weather forecast, so we are passing this port number, and this is the global configuration base URL. So this URL is for API gateway. So we have to change their port number in our API gateway also. So let's go to the properties and here give it 7000. We don't need launch URL. Let's build this project. And again, let's start it. So this is in the API gateway controllers. We don't need the controller. So let's delete this controller. And now execute the project. Let's call the API user. Okay. And weather forecast. Let's check the issue. Issue is, as you can see in the controllers, we are not passing the API name. So let's pass the API, the user, and weather forecast. Now let's execute the project. Slash API user. Great. So we are getting the data for the user. Now let's check weather forecast. You can see the ocelot is returning the data for the weather forecast. So this is a simple web service where we have used ocelot to get the gateway project. Coming videos, we will create authentication by using the JWT token. I hope you like my video, and thanks for watching.